out on a Tuesday night. Welcome to Peoria, Illinois, and the new look of the PBA. Hi again, everybody, and welcome. You know, there's probably no better place, really, than here in Peoria, the heartland of America, to debut and introduce you to the new era of the PBA. For the first time ever, well, a defined season. The prize money dramatically increased, an exciting new format, and a new look to the PBA as well. Take a look. We like to call it the PBA in the round, like a Madonna mini concert, kind of crisscrossing the country, hopefully coming to a theater in a town near you. Also new for this era, well, I've got a new partner, a new tag team partner alongside, a man that's won 12 times on the PBA trail. First time Randy Peterson won back, Ronald Reagan was president. The last time it won in '99 under the Clinton administration. Now, we talk about the exciting new format. How excited are the players?
They're very excited, Jim. It's a brand new format. We started this week with a 138-man field. When we cut to the top 32, the players then went to a match game style format, bowling the best 3 out of 5 games. The winner advanced, the loser went home. I talked to one of the players last night, Jim. He told me that this was the most pressure-packed situation format of any tournament he's ever bowled.
Mono versus mono. You know, when Randy Peterson won the last time, first prize was $16,000. Well, for 16 of the 20 events on our ESPN series, $200,000 in prize money, $40,000 going to the winner.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. The players aren't used to bowling for this kind of money. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when a player gets in the 10th frame and he needs to pull the trigger for a shot to win 40 grand.
Speaking of the trigger, you ready to go? Let's meet the field.
The tournament began with an engaging field of 139, and now we're down to only 5 players. Here are tonight's finalists. Brian Himmler, a one-time PBA title holder, 28 years of age, out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Steve Wilson from Lake Worth, Florida, will celebrate his 33rd birthday in a couple of weeks, looking for his 4th career PBA title. Kurt Pilon, 29, shooting for his first PBA title out of Warren, Michigan. And Paul Koehler, 31, from Stuart, Florida, also targeting victory number 1. And finally, the veteran, Brian Voss, 43, a former Player of the Year and member of the PBA Hall of Fame from Atlanta, Georgia. Please rise for the presentation of our colors. The Peoria Firefighters Local 50 Honor Guard, Mark Hubner, Andre Harper, Terry Carter, and Chance Barlow. The flags, the Local 50 Firefighters from Peoria, and Old Glory, our American flag. Rolling Stone magazine called her the great female blues singer of her generation. To sing our national anthem, Grammy Award-winning artist Coco Taylor.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hear, what so proudly let streaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Over the rampart we watch, what so proudly let gleaming, and the rocket red glare, bombs bursting in air, came prove through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the Star-Spangled Banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home
Well, Randy Peterson, we started with a stellar field of 139. 5 made it to our TV finals. How'd they get here? 5 best from the round of 8. We've got a wild card, folks, just like in the NFL, Major League Baseball. 4 semifinalists, the winners from the round of 8. The wild card, by the way, is the loser out of the round of 8, but with the best match play record. First match, Brian Himmler up against Steve Wilson. $200,000 on the line here at the PBA Peoria Open. $40,000 going to the winner. So the right-hander, Steve Wilson, opens up on the left lane.
Not exactly the start he's looking for, but if you're gonna throw the ball in the gutter, the first frame is the time to do it. This ball just gets away from him. He gets a little too far to the right. Not a lot of friction in that part of the lane. The ball falls right in the channel.
Well, if there are some nerves and a little bit of rust, Steve's got to shake it off and shake it off quick, right?
Yeah, you know, like I said, first frame open, not so terrible. Better there than when you need one in the 10th frame.
Now the chief, Brian Himmler.
A ball drifting high. Nice break, just leaving the 6-10. Brian will move across lane, probably go to a ball that goes straighter. Nice straight line. 6 into the 10 shouldn't be a problem for Brian.
Talked to Brian last night after he did qualify for the TV show and asked him how he got rid of the rust. He played over in the Japan Cup, bowled there. Took about 3 weeks off and then tuned up with some more regional action. So a shaky start for both.
Yeah, well, we're all tied up by virtue of one gutter ball and one missed spare. Brian did do a lot of bowling when they were over in Japan, lots of exhibitions. Said he got himself in bowling shape. It's a long way to travel to get yourself in bowling shape.
And a rematch of 2 guys that we saw bowl earlier, huh?
This ball just has way too much friction, crosses over, leaving the 9-pin. Brian switches to a ball that goes much straighter. Brian gives it the old thumbs up. All right, a spare.
Finally a big smile.
Looks up at the booth and goes, all right.
Even a little bit of a grin from Steve, right?
Right. Oh.
Yeah, it's funny. You look at Steve Wilson there now, obviously one of the elite out here on the PBA. When he was in high school, he was a linebacker in football and a running back and a defensive back.
This ball here could have struck very easily, leaving the 7-pin. Steve Wilson cross lane.
Did you ask him last night whether the lane was flat or loopy, and he said it was kind of in between.
Yeah, he said it was really in between for him. He had to go a little bit straighter, but take a look at what Steve Wilson did, starting with a round of 32, beat Hall of Famer Mike Albee. A guy that I wouldn't want to go up against, Robert Smith. He took care of him 3-0, and then the great match last night against Brian Himmler. I'll tell you, Jim, one of the hardest things to do is to try to play towards the edge of the channel when you have your knees knocking. Nice shot. Very nice shot.
He has applied the Rust-Oleum. The rust is off.
He can breathe now. Watch this ball. Looking for the channel. Keeps it just left. That's what we call the swish zone. Steve's like, all right. Now he can breathe.
First time he's had oxygen in 20 minutes.
Yeah. That's what Chief's looking for.
9 years on the PBA trail with 1 title.
Look at that determination in his face. High backswing, really loads up on it, playing the deep inside line.
In the round of 32, then to the round of 16. Lost out to Steve Wilson last night, but still made it in as the wild card.
That looks pretty good now. Maybe a little redemption coming Steve Wilson's way from Brian Himmler. That ball is just dead flush. The ball takes out the 8 and the 9, and he likes it. That's not a leave you see every day.
Kind of an oh my beginning.
Yeah, the 2-6-10. That ball just got away from him. He didn't quite get his hand into it at release. Ball didn't have enough friction to get to the head pin. You got to get the ball over here to the left side of the 2 pin. Throw it into the 6-10. Problem with going for that split is you don't make your release count. Instead of going for the 2 pins on the right and getting 9, he gets 8. And he was on a strike. Steve needs to regroup, take a deep breath. He made a good shot on this lane last time.
Down by 34. More like how he bowled when he accumulated his 3 PBA titles.
Lanes are very demanding. Steve Wilson playing the far outside line. This ball, he did get his hand in. Hooks up nicely. The 6 takes care of the 10. That ball drifting a little high, leaving the 9 pin. Brian puts both hands up saying, okay, I'll take that.
A little bit like being on Monday Night Football for our 5 finalists here. Did he or did he not play golf today?
He did play golf today. But look at how high this shot is. Gets a great break, tripping the 4-7 out.
He bowls his best, the Chief does, when he's emotional. If he doesn't show any emotion, he doesn't bowl very well.
Yeah, when Brian's running him out and yelling and slapping his hands, that's when he's the most effective. And generally, when he's doing that, he's got a really good ball reaction. And when he has a good ball reaction, Brian Himmler strikes a lot.
See the background, it's the new image of the PBA, a new format. The prize money's up, $40,000 to the winner, and we are live at the $200,000 PBA Peoria Open. Still to come, Paul Koehler, Brian Voss, Kurt Pilon. Welcome back live, along with a man that's won 12 PBA titles, Randy Peterson. Since we've been gone, the Chief has picked up another 23 pins.
Brian Himmler looks like he's finding a pretty good strike line. Double 9 spare double.
Max score for Steve is 212, and for Brian 248 if they were to
strike out. He's definitely finding it out, Jim. The middle of the lane is tamed down. Brian's getting his ball pushed to the right, and because of the revolutions in the hand that he has, he's getting the ball to flip back.
Just like his idol, Mark Roth. He grew up watching Mark every Saturday morning on TV. Kind of patterned himself after him.
Mark was definitely Steve's inspiration. And right now, Steve needs to keep striking.
Steve's wife, Sherry, their 2.5-year-old daughter, Sarah, is also here. She was a little sleepy earlier when Sherry was holding her, but she's chewing the gum pretty good now, little Sarah is, isn't she?
Well, Dad's bowling. She's wide awake and watching, rooting for her daddy.
Steve spent the day with his family.
Oh, how about that little love tap? Late 10. Watch this. This ball almost looking for the channel. Rips back. Looks like the 10-pin's going to stand, and then he just gets a little bump. Steve's like, come on, hook. Yes.
He put a little stuff in his hair for TV tonight. It didn't look like that last night.
He wants to look good for the crowd at home. Come on.
The winner of this match will sit down and wait a while, which is also part of the new format.
Much different. That ball drifting high for Brian Himmler. Avoids the big split. He did chop this spare in the first frame. Right now what he needs to do is fill frames. Spares and strikes with good count.
Now he's a pretty solid guy, but what size bowling ball would he have used when he started bowling at age 3?
Probably 2 hands with a 6-pounder.
Maybe a tennis ball. So the Chief converts. How did he get here? We mentioned that the wild card is the loser of the round of 8, but has the best match play record.
Brian, obviously, as you can see, won the most matches, and he had the highest winning percentage. That's why he's in. You know, he won the most games, and you know, Brian last night also told us, Jim, that he felt he deserved to be here. Felt he bowled well enough all week. Very good in qualifying. Won a lot of matches. Right now, he's got the lead.
And wild cards who made it to number 1. Remember the Oakland Raiders back in 1980. Knocked off the Eagles in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. So wild card Brian Himmler. And if he continues at this pace, we'll meet Paul Koehler a little bit later on tonight.
Right now, Himmler needs to just keep it behind the foul line. 7 pins, he's a winner.
See how tight was pursed those lips were?
Whoa, you see the action of that head pin? There's your winner, folks, Brian Himmler.
He will meet Paul Koehler live here from this 2001 PBA Peoria Open. We roll on next week. We'll be in Nashville. Maybe the Chief will be in again. The winner of the wild card, he advances. The pros approach. Welcome back live to Peoria, Illinois. Folks watching inside. Again, the new look, the new image, if you will. This set will travel to Nashville next week. They're just kind of filling out the score. It's not over, but Brian Himmler will sit down and relax a little while and await Paul Koehler. But next up, it'll be Brian Voss and Kurt Pilon.
You know, each week on our ESPN telecast, as the PBA Tour crisscrosses the country, not only will we explore some of the new technology, but also the nuances of the sport that you all love with Randy and some of our touring pros. Tonight we start with Brian Voss and the mental approach.
We're here at the Koehler Training Center in Sebring, Florida. My guest today, my good friend Brian Voss, he's going to tell you about the mental game. And what better person to do that than a guy who's won at least one tournament for 12 consecutive years in a row on the PBA Tour. Brian, we all want to know, how do you keep from yakking it off when you need a hit in the 10th? How do you throw the money shot?
Well, first, you should expect your opponent to put the pressure on you. If you're sitting there on the bench hoping that they open into 10th frame, you're not really ready to go to battle, so expect them to put the pressure on you. And secondly, you need to have a routine that you can repeat over and over again, just as if it was the first ball of the tournament. Take a couple deep breaths, a little wiggle, a little waggle, and then go up there and get the job done. And third, you really need to focus on your break point. Oftentimes in crucial situations, what everybody likes to do is pull the ball left, go through the nose. If you focus on your break point and forget about the 1-3, you got a much better chance of striking. And last, the things that you're saying to yourself, things like, I am the best, I will make a good shot, I am the greatest, those type of things often produce positive results.
Take it from Hall of Famer Brian Voss, folks. You want to improve your bowling scores, improve your mental game.
Kurt Pilon out of Warren, Michigan, the right-hander. Brian Voss, the Hall of Famer, the veteran from Atlanta, Georgia. When we come back live to Peoria. The PBA coming to Peoria, $200,000 in this PBA Peoria Open, and Kurt Pilon up against Brian Voss next. Let's put a period, Randy, on that Wilson-Himmler match.
Himmler wins 216-188. Found a nice little line to the pocket there towards the latter part of the match. Coming up next, a great battle between Brian Voss and Kurt Pilon.
Kind of a free spirit, if you don't know Kurt Pilon. I mean, he is very energized, but he reminds you a little bit of, remember the Red Sox pitcher, Bill Spaceman Lee? I mean, you're never quite sure what's going to come out of his mouth.
Yeah, he comes off as being like a really shy, quiet guy, but he's hysterical. He's a funny guy.
How'd he shake off the rust? Well, he'd bowl for 3 weeks, take a week off, bowl for 3 weeks, take a week off, bowl for 3, and take a week off.
Here's a guy with a practice regimen that's second to none and an outstanding work ethic. Hall of Famer Brian Voss.
Come on, Brian.
And he got ready for Peoria by going over to Japan for the Japan Cup. Missed the TV show there by what, 30 pins?
Yeah, he said he missed by 30. Watch the angle that Brian Voss is playing. Great at manipulating the bowling ball in his roll, changing his release. That's pretty straight. Just goes to show you don't have to throw the big hook to strike, especially when the lane conditions are tough.
When he practices all the tricks that he brings in the bag. But the one weakness that he works on, ironically, is the straight ball, because he knows it's his weakness. I mean, it's like you with your game of golf.
Well, it is his weakness, going really, really straight. Right now he's going real straight, but with a little pop in the back end. But you're right, he gets in there and he practices his straight ball first. That straight ball almost missed. Watch the free swinging Brian Voss. Just such a great, simple game. His head doesn't move. Nice, compact game. That's why he's been great for the last 20 years.
Kurt last night what he would do all day. I mean, we likened it to waiting around for Monday Night Football with the 7 o'clock start here in Peoria. He said, well, I think I'll sleep till 4.
Yeah, well, looks like he got a lot of rest because he just started the match with 2 strikes.
Defeated Hugh Miller in the round of 32. Danny Weissman, who's actually on PBA.com right now doing a little live chat, a little play-by-play on the PBA website.
Pilon just opening up the entire lane. Looks like he's got a great reaction. Look at the rotation on this shot. This is what enables the ball to get back from going so far to the right. Once the ball grabs the lane, it's going to go travel in the direction of rotation. Again, we see the 6-pin going to the wall and taking a 10 out, and that's a really good sign. That's telling you that your ball roll is really conducive to the pattern.
You don't see that very often.
5-count washout. 2 rules of thumb in converting this spare. You get the ball to the right of the head pin and make it this way, have the ball deflect into this, or you get the ball into this area here and you throw the head pin into the 6-10.
That last ball was his fastest in the match at 20 miles an hour, so not that smooth rhythm that we'd seen before.
Well, the extra speed kept that ball from hooking. The slower you throw it, the more it's going to grab the lane. The faster you throw it, the straighter it's going to go. Again, this pattern, this condition, this sport condition that the pros have been bowling on this week, big emphasis on making shots. Right now, Brian's fishing to get to the pocket. Leaves the 3-10. The idea with this spare is you try to cover both pins with the bowling ball. That ball into here, and it'll take out the 10-pin.
Going into that frame down by 48. We're live on a Tuesday night here in Peoria.
Three in a row for Kirk. Gets up on the right lane. Looks like he gets a little soft. Leaves the 3-6-10.
And for some of the young bowlers who might be watching, a graduate of that Michigan Junior Masters program, all right, paved the way to become a pro.
Nicknamed the Big Wheel. Nicely done. Watch the ball going to the right of the 3-pin. Drives the 6 into the 10. Changes to a ball that goes much straighter.
You know, when we talked to Kurt about the new format, he said it forces you to make decisions quicker.
Especially on TV. Single elimination, you lose, you're out. The same thing with the match play format. The only difference is the best 3 out of 5. Here, it's just one game. That's a direct result of the shot on the right lane, the shot that went high, leaving the 3-6-10. The next thing the player does when he gets up to throw the next shot, he's going to try to get it right.
Here's what happens, right, when you don't find the pocket.
Excuse me, Jim. This ball doesn't catch the piece of the head pin. Leaves the 1-2-4. Oh, you had a commanding lead there, and you just let Brian back in the, let him back in.
And knows it. You can tell from that reaction.
You know, Brian Voss is not the guy that you want to give any kind of openings to.
Kurt says of his opponent, the man on your screen right there, he repeats shots as well as anybody who bowls.
Says Brian's mentally tough, stays within his game, and he's got all the tricks. Brian's just changed his angle. Going into the extreme inside line. See, that's what makes Brian a great champion. He was playing the extreme outside line. saw that his reaction wasn't very good, and moved immediately inside. And also just got a shot clock violation.
Well, we talked about PBA.com. You can log on to the website, PBA.com, find out the latest PBA information, where we'll be next week in Nashville. And right now, if you log on, you can get a little play-by-play from Danny Weissman. You can watch it on TV and turn down Randy Peterson. Don't do that. We're live in Peoria. The Chief, the wild card, is advanced against Steve Wilson. Still to come, Paul Koehler. Semifinalists, Brian Voss, Kurt Pilon. Welcome back live to America's Heartland, Peoria, Illinois, right on the Illinois River downtown. You come inside landmark lanes, the new look, the new era, if you will, of the PBA Tour. That set rolls with us to Nashville, and each and every week in semifinal match number 1, Pilon up by 21, but the door wide open for Brian Voss. How about lane conditions here? Well, as far as
accuracy is a must because the condition is very sensitive to change in speed and direction. After a game or two, the condition starts to develop a worn area or a trough as the oil pushes down the lane. By the start of the title match, the condition should develop into a very smooth pattern, giving the players a little more help right to left. However, this week, the first 15 feet of the lane remained very critical, putting a big emphasis on repeating shots.
He was in control, but now the door opened him.
Brian Voss changed his angle, changed his line, moved his feet 20 boards to the left, his target probably 10 to the left. He started carving on it and opened up the entire lane like Kurt Pilon and like we saw with Brian Himmler. That's the way to come back after an open frame.
One of the things that Kurt has been working on in the offseason is being a little bit more patient.
Yeah, he really has. He's trying to stay with one game instead of, trying to throw the ball 8 different ways, working more on his A game. And when the lanes are tough and his ball reaction's not great, he starts to grind. He's learning that 190s and 2-0s are a lot better than trying to shoot 250 and shooting 150. That ball drifting just a shade high. It's interesting to watch his ball when it's entering the pins because it almost looks like it rolls out or stops. It's because there's so much friction being created, not only with the lane condition, but with the amount of revs that Kurt Pilon has. Take a look and see the difference in the way Brian Voss is playing the right lane. Beginning of the match, he's playing the extreme outside angle, outside the first arrow. Now look where he is. 20 boards to the left. And all of a sudden, he's back in the match. Standing in front of the ball return. He has to change his approach.
When you see him nuzzled up as he is against that ball return, I mean, do you get the feeling he'd like another 4, 5, 6 inches if he could steal it?
Yes, absolutely. He'd rather be standing back where he normally stands. He thought that was a good shot. He thought it was going to hook up and get to the pocket. And quite frankly, he's fortunate that the 10-pin fell. Ball speed obviously is down because he's trying to hook it.
And 1/10 of a mile an hour at this distance translates to a great deal of speed.
Sure does.
Brian's says he's always tried to be creative, never has been a one-dimensional bowler. And to that end, he has gone to the bullpen. A different ball.
Probably something that hooks a little bit more. You'll never find a bigger competitor than Brian Voss. He's fighting. He's trying to figure out what he needs to do to get the ball to the 1-3.
Found a mark over on that lane, 17.8 miles per hour.
And Kurt Pilon's working on a strike going into the foundation frame, the 9th frame, 21-pin lead. Ooh. Almost a 4-9, trips the 4 out. Take a look at where Kurt Pilon is setting the ball down on the lane. Right over the left gutter cap, or the left gutter. His ball is literally starting on the 3rd or 4th board on the left side of the lane.
On that slow-mo, you saw that grimace. I mean, it almost looked painful.
Well, when you're crossing that many boards, he's really trying to get on it. He's crowbarring it at the bottom of the swing to create a lot of hurt.
During the layout, Kurt said he almost worked too hard. I mean, he got himself into a little bit of a mental and physical rut, didn't he?
Yeah, you know, there are times when you can practice too much, and that's where he found himself. He was just bowling way too much, and then he kind of got into a little rhythm, 3 on, 3 off.
You never had that problem?
No, never.
Bowl, golf,
bowl, golf, fish.
Buffet.
Same identical hit that he left in 7th frame. And right now, Brian Voss is frustrated and doesn't understand why the ball won't hook on the right lane.
Well, we talked about a field of 139, an engaging field, and some of the amateurs, huh?
Well, the sport condition is pretty tough. The amateurs, Doug, averaging 219 in league, only averages 199 in the tournament. Bob Baker, 187, 13 pins shy of his league average, and Ken Combs, 24 pins. So it's a condition that they don't see a whole lot of.
Brian down by 27.
Watch that up there.
What did he say? Watch that up there?
Yeah.
You got to cough when he's up.
Somebody coughed when in Brian's approach. He still struck, so no harm done. Right now, Brian, with 2 more strikes, will shoot 191. That will force Kurt Pilon to mark in the 10th frame.
Talked about him missing the TV show by 30 pins in Japan. He was joking with us last night. He said he has probably finished 8th through 12th more times than anybody, and it's starting to eat him alive, huh?
Yeah. It gets a little frustrating after a while. And right now, he's not going to beat Kurt Pilon either. Pilon, look at this, left-handed Brian Voss. Yeah, 2-8-10. So it's a great week for Brian, and a real nice paycheck. Watch this left-handed shot.
And the reason?
Well,
that right there.
It's really hard to make right-handed. You try to get the ball to the left side of the 2-pin and throw it over into the 10.
Well, also, I think with 4 pins, pretty much knew the result. What a way to finish up. You talk about the prize money, $40,000 for first, $20,000 for second, $10,000 for third, $10,000 for fourth, and $9,000 for fifth. Now, one of the things Brian said he didn't want to do was bowl in some of the regional events. That was not the way he wanted to get ready.
Well, Brian feels like it's a lot of work for not a lot of money, and he'd rather put his hard work and time and effort into his practice, bring it out here where the money's big now. Take advantage of the big league.
2 PBA titles on 4 years on tour for Kurt. He'll get a rest for a little while, and when we come back, the Chief, Brian Himmler, up against Paul Koehler. Welcome back live to the 2001 $200,000 PBA Peoria Open, along with Randy Peterson and our ESPN PBA bowling team. We are live at the landmark lanes here in Peoria, and they are on their feet. The sporting world, of course, with renewed competition after a self-imposed timeout after the tragedy of September the 11th. You look at some of the firefighters and policemen here in the audience. Of course, the rear heroes back in New York. The emotion reverberating throughout the entire PBA family.
I woke up and watched TV, and I just could not believe what I was seeing. I've been depressed ever since, just thinking about the tragedy, the loss, and thinking about what's coming up. What are we going to do, and how's this country going to recover?
My heart's out to those guys that are going to go over and preserve the very freedom that I have right now. I'm able to bowl because of what they're going to be able to do, and they got their work cut out for them.
My wife's brother's a fireman in Manhattan, and they were one of the first group of guys out there at this building. And I left Tuesday at 5:30 to go to Wichita. I drove. We didn't hear from my brother-in-law until 9 o'clock that night. We were all pretty worried.
My heart goes out to all those people and all those rescue workers that tried to save those people. That's one of the most terrible things I've ever seen in my life. And hopefully we never see anything like that again.
The events that happened Tuesday morning were unparalleled. Our hearts and prayers go out to all of the victims of the World Trade Center bombings, as well as in the Washington, D.C. area at the Pentagon as well.
I love this country. I'm proud to live in this country, and those guys over there, they got their work cut out for them. It's going to be tough.
The stars and stripes, red, white, and blue, evident coast to coast. Semifinal number 2, the Chief, Brian Himmler, up against Paul Koehler. Now, advantage or disadvantage for Paul? He's had to sit and wait a long time.
Well, I think it's an advantage. If Paul Koehler wins this match, he doesn't sit the next match. He goes right into the championship match. I think it's a bigger disadvantage for Brian. He had to sit.
Lips tightly pursed, starts out with a strike on the left-hand lane. The wild card, Brian Himmler, defeated Steve Wilson in the first match tonight, 216 to 188.
Again, a ball that's laid down by the left gutter, going out to about the 10th board, 19.5 miles an hour. Lots of power Brian Himmler possesses. A great opening shot by PK.
7 regional titles, still looking for win 1 on the PBA circuit. 10 years he's been out of Stuart, Florida, the right-hander.
I talked to Paul Koehler 2 days ago, Jim. I said, you know what? I bet this format is something that's really going to turn your career around. He says, Randy, I think you're absolutely right. 2 days later, he's 1 game away from bowling for $40,000.
Said he is very, very hungry to win a title. Soft hands, that helicopter spin, and a lot of axis rotation, huh?
Yeah, he's Paul Koehler can really hook it, and he can hook it with anybody out here. And I think that's part of what's been his problem. He used to hook it too much. He's now trying to learn to get a little softer with his hand, to get the ball to push down the lane. Worked real well this week. And for a change, we have two guys that are playing similar lines. And it's working.
After he qualified as the wild card, he went and watched the second half. The Redskins, Packers last night, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, that was worth it.
He had the under.
Yeah. See the full grip. Ryan Himmler really spreads that index finger out to help his hand rotate around the bowling ball. The ball was left of target. Never got the ball to push far enough to the right. And one of the problems with the big hook is when it doesn't hit the pocket, you can be left with some ugly stuff. And he knew it. He's like, oh, God. Give me something I can make. The 3, 4, 6, 10. Good effort.
Second TV show for the Chief after a 6-month layoff. Close on the spare, huh?
Yep, he needed to get the ball just a little bit further right of the 3-pin. It's not a spare that we do a lot of practicing on to try to make the 3, 4, 6, 10. In fact, I'm not even sure I've ever left one. Of course, I don't throw a big hook either.
Paul, his biggest check was back at the 95 U.S. Open. It was $24,000 back then, $40,000 if he were to win tonight.
And finished second to Dave Husted. This ball was looking for a big piece of the head pin, and Paul's very happy that he just left the 4-pin. And he switches to a really ugly ball to shoot a spare. What do you make of that?
The ball, the rotation.
The ball.
His mom, Yvonne, is watching back in Stuart, Florida. And Paul will be a new daddy soon, huh?
Yes. Paul's expecting
baby boy.
Baby boy, December 10th.
Right. Says he's got his daddy's genes. That put that competitive instinct into him there. Maybe he'll pass that along to his son. Said also his mom was very, very supportive of his bowling career, huh?
Yep. Watch this ball going a little high flush. 9-pin standing, gets knocked out, and watch this reaction. Yvonne came out of her seat on that shot.
Yeah, there's nobody sitting on that couch in Stuart, Florida right now. All right, Professor, how do you make this?
Well,
is it makeable?
Yes, it's makeable. It's like shooting a 310. You got to get the ball over into here, throwing the 3-pin over into the 4-7. The ball deflects into the 10-pin.
And you've made how many of those? Hundreds.
None.
In your dreams.
I try not to leave them. Oh yeah!
Oh!
Well, he got a little practice from his shot before that.
Fastest ball we've seen tonight. 22.
Excuse me, Jim. Yeah, and that was to keep it on line. When he lets go of it, he knew he had a chance of making that. just like I drew it up. Okay, I got lucky. He made it. Now what Brian needs to do is he needs to get the ball to push further right on the lane, whether it's manipulating with his wrist and spinning it more, but he's got to find something to keep the ball to the right of the head pin. All right, well, that's better.
You know, we're giving you the ball velocity tonight, and in the weeks ahead, we take a look at some of the nuances and the technology. We'll take a look at the board locations, some hand rev rates. entry and launch angles.
CAT system. Tells you exactly what your ball's doing when it leaves your hand.
That came from downtown Moline down the river.
That ball was just way right.
Feet don't fail me now. Time to take a look at our Dexter footwork of the pros.
Solid leverage is what Paul's after this week. For him, the approaches were slippery, so he used a #1 red horseshoe heel and a #2 sole for better traction. This gives him better balance and leverage, which enables him to make great shots on a real demanding condition. See what happens with the big hook. You can throw a lot of strikes, but when you don't hit the pocket, you're left with real ugly stuff. Right now, Paul holding on to a 2-pin lead. Coming up high, leaving the 3-pin. And again, the shot on the right lane, got it too far right, left himself with a 5-count washout. Goes to the left lane, and the first thing he's thinking is, don't get this one too far right. Gets the ball left, and it's got no chance of getting to the 1-3.
I'm glad you said washout. That's how Paul spent the day, doing laundry and calling Mom. That's what he told us last night. Said he was going to do the laundry, right? Go to the mall and talk to his mom and his fiancée, Christine. We're live in Peoria. Stick around. Back live, the PBA's Peoria Open. The new image, the new look, the new format, the new purse. $200,000 on 16 of the 20. The only exception will be the majors. And our new studio look, which travels with us. We'll all be in Nashville next week, and we hope you'll join us. Since we've been gone,
look at the brackets. Kurt Pilon defeated Brian Voss. And right now we are in the middle of a Brian Himmler, who was our wild card, going against Paul Koehler. It's a 2-pin match.
Our Bayer Aspirin brackets, and his mom, Yvonne, back there, probably taking 2 of them now. She's just hanging on to the couch. This would be a huge win for him, huh?
Definitely change his career. Hard that ball jerks in the backhand. During the break, Brian Himmler struck on the right lane, 9 spare on the left. Paul Koehler 9 spare, and with the conversion here, another 9 spare. It's now a 1-pin match. Oh, and that's just lack of concentration on Paul's part. Probably trying to figure out what he needs to do to get to the pocket, and goes up and blows a spare.
He talked about this new format last night. Said it was unbelievable, nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's, you know, you live and die with every shot. There's just no letting up. It's like do or die. Every shot, every frame. Right now, he needs to get back on track.
Well, I'll tell you what, Del Ballard Jr. instilled a never-give-up attitude into that young man.
They really helped Paul out a lot, not only with his mental game, but his physical game. All this guy needs is a good ball reaction, and Paul's a good player. He figures out week in and week out how to get his ball to react the right way. He's going to be tough. Now, Brian Himmler, right lane, 10-pin lead. Well, he gets it into that zone on that right lane where the ball just won't bite from.
kind of interesting, Randy. If the wild card could go on and win this first, given the new format, give a lot of hope to a lot of guys.
Sure. Leaves the 1-2-4-6-10. You know, the problem, Jim, is that if he gets a little soft, the ball hooks high. So your first instinct to get the ball to the right side of the head pin is to throw it a little bit harder, and as soon as you do that, get it a little right. It doesn't.
Tell you what, he's converted 2 beauties in this match, hasn't he?
That's what's kept him alive. Watch this. Gets the ball to the right side of the head pin. And does this guy have some power or what? That was 26 miles an hour. And he knows just how big that spare conversion was.
You got the Giants and Dodgers tomorrow on ESPN. A couple of pretty good fastballers. Juan Marichal, Sandy Koufax. He gave it the fastball there at 26, didn't he?
That was definitely the number 1.
Of course, that game would be on ESPN Classic.
Well, right now, 9th frame. Brian Himmler needs to strike. Great shot.
Waiting in the wings, Kurt Pilon with 40,000 on the line.
Brian Himmler going at a 188 pace. Paul Koehler can strike out 9th, 10th, and 11th for 213. Wow, it looked like he had a little trouble at the foul line. That ball was dead flush.
Asked him last night to describe himself as a competitor. He said, cool when he comes to really needing a shot. Delivered right there.
Well, he's got a lot of confidence riding. Wow, like he's willing it to the pocket. Right now with a strike here, Paul Koehler can win the match. What a shot! Again, you see that he had that little hop at the foul line. That is about as flush as it can get.
And the reaction.
He knows he's going on to bowl for 40 grand.
He's having a tough night. Yvonne's neighbors down there in Florida. Well, the Chief was the wild card. He ousted Steve Wilson 216 to 188.
Koehler needs just 6 to win. As good as he's thrown those last 2. Didn't think it'd be a problem. However, the 5th frame he did go 5-3. All you're thinking to yourself right now is make a good shot. It's enough.
So the wild card is ousted, and it'll be Kurt Pilon who beat Brian Voss, the Hall of Famer, up against Paul Koehler when we come back live. The finals, the 2001 Peoria Open. Back with Randy Peterson. He's got 12 PBA titles, but somebody tonight will win their very first.
Well, by virtue of his victory against Brian Voss, Kurt Pilon in the Bayer Aspirin Bracket Championship round, Paul Koehler beat the wild card Brian Himmler.
And worth taking another look. Back in the 4th, look at this. The Chief converts right there, and the emotion. 2 unusual conversions. But not enough strikes. Upcoming events as the PBA rolls on. You can also check out the schedule on PBA.com, the website. We'll be in Nashville, the Strike and Spare Center in Hendersonville, Tennessee. We got to go see Vince and Amy, huh? The National Tour PBA rolls on with a new look. The PBA Miller High Life Open, Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis.
Site of my last title.
At the Woodland Bowl. And regional events, very important. South regions, Valley Lanes in Virginia, Southwestern region in Houston, Texas, and Moses Lake, Washington. Championship matchup then. Somebody will win their first PBA title. Will it be Kurt Pilon or Paul Koehler? A little handicapping. The championship match with $40,000 on the line. Of course, when one Hall of Famer started his career, the money not nearly what it is today. The PBA lost its greatest champion last month when Earl Anthony died suddenly at the age of 63. Anthony leaves behind a legacy of 41 titles, the most in PBA history, and many, many great memories for his fans and fellow players. A special celebration of Earl's life and career will take place at a PBA event later this year. In the interim, the thoughts and prayers of the PBA family remain with Earl's friends and family. Earl Anthony, husband, father, Hall of Famer. Welcome back to our championship match. We are live in Peoria, Illinois, the 2001 PBA Peoria Open. 40,000 to either first-time champions. Kurt Pilon, 29 years of age, out of Warren, Michigan, and Paul Koehler, 31, out of Stuart, Florida.
Nice way to start.
If you could dust off the gray matter for a while, think back to '86, what's it like? I mean, when you're on the verge of winning for the first time,
Mentally, you get into kind of a tunnel vision. You're so focused. You just do everything right. You step up, you look at your target, you let it go, and you just make really, really good shots. Kind of like PK's doing.
Worthy of a championship match, don't you think?
Very much so. Both guys playing similar lines. It's just going to come down to who's making the best shots towards the end of the game.
For Paul, 18.2 miles per hour.
Speed and release just so critical.
Well, we've seen a couple of key conversions by the Chief.
You know, this is a thing that you want to try to avoid, especially in a championship match. Right now what Paul wants to do is he wants to get the ball over into this area. This guy over here flying to that guy. Conversion. Easier said than done. Ooh, close. Good effort.
$18 and change, but that one got up to 21 miles an hour for Paul.
Kurt Pilon's using a different ball than he did his first match.
What Kurt tell us last night? He needs to win at least 2 of these just to pay for that home theater that he put in, 53-inch flat screen.
He's an electronics freak, and evidently he has expensive taste. Kurt's last shot, 19.5. This one's going to be even harder, faster.
Owns his own pro shop back in Hazel Park, Michigan. Kurt does. 21.8 on the last.
Well, thus far, it looks like the ball change is working out. He has a strike in the first frame. He hit the pocket the last shot. I think the key in this match is going to be the right lane. Who can hit the right lane? Another good shot that could have struck. The ball rolling out a little bit as it got to the pocket, leaving what we call the flat 10. That's where the 6-pin lays in the gutter.
Doug Holmes, the general manager of Landmark. Thanks for a great week on behalf of all of Randy's friends at the PBA.
Absolutely. Doug is a great proprietor. We always enjoy coming to Landmark. Cross lane at the 10-pin. Koehler, right lane, working on an open frame. A little distraction. Somebody may have sneezed or clearing of the throat or something. Paul needs to gather himself, go through his pre-shot routine, and make a good shot here.
Just like a golfer. I mean, it's just what you see the pro golfers do, isn't it?
Koehler left lane, working on a strike. Trails by 3. That ball going Brooklyn, left side of the head pin, and that's just because he got way too much hand in it, over aggressive. Ball never gets far enough to the right, and once it grabs the lane, it's going left, and he knew it. Looks a little confused, like he didn't think it was going to do that.
Talked a lot about his mom, Yvonne, but his dad was quite an athlete, a gymnast, very active in the trampoline, high dive, no problem.
I'd like to say a special congratulations to your daughter, Jim, for an engagement announcement. Congratulations.
I'll be working a long time to pay for that wedding.
Yes, you will.
She's pretty happy.
And right now, a guy working on 40 grand, Kurt Pilon, right lane. And one thing that I like about what Kurt's doing is he's keeping the ball in play, he's keeping it around the 1-3 pocket, and he's leaving himself spares that are makeable.
Talking about his mental makeup, he said he gets in trouble when he starts letting those stupid thoughts creep into his head. I mean, all you athletes go through that.
Sure, you always want to keep your mind focused on the job at hand and what it is that you're trying to do. And then the other thing is, try to keep it simple. You don't want too much food on the plate. It gets confusing after a while. 12-pin lead. Every ball's been in the pocket.
What would you say Kurt's take on the lane conditioning has been?
Well, Kurt told me earlier in the week that he thought the lane condition was a little inverted or real flat until, 3 or 4 games into qualifying or in the matches when the lane started to change. The ball started to break down. Great shot there.
You look at Paul, he's only 5'7", about 150 pounds, and that's dripping wet. Loved to play basketball in high school, but how does a guy like this generate the ball speed that he comes up with?
Well, Paul uses his lower body a lot, his legs, and he's really strong. You look at his forearms, he's got a lot of strength. It's evident by the way he cups and rotates his hand around the ball. What a great shot that was. Right now, what Paul's going through is he's telling himself, listen, all you got to do is make good shots, and this ball will get to the pocket. Great concentration in his eyes, and look at that hand and wrist just fully cocked and rotate around the ball. And, I think we should also talk about the fact that his approach is altered on the right lane because he's standing in front of the ball return. When he's on the left lane, he's back another 3-4 feet. And that takes a little bit of talent to go, back and forth from one approach to the other. Obviously something that Paul Koehler's practiced a lot. Well, in that shot, Paul went to a little bit more loft and a lot more hand. Got the ball further out on the lane, trying to slow down the hook. Ball finishes just a little too late, leaving the 10 pin. Switches balls to a ball that doesn't hook.
Sports Center at 11 o'clock, Kenny Mayne, Trey Wingo. They'll tell you what Michael Jordan's going to do. And after our live bowling from Peoria, baseball tonight is coming up next.
We're back. Kurt Pilon on the left lane, working on a double. 12-pin lead. I'm sorry, it's not a 12-pin lead. 32-pin lead. Every ball's been in the pocket. Going for 3 in a row.
Trouble is, that's how Randy keeps score at golf.
That shot there got away from Kurt a little fast, and not a lot of hand in that. That ball sliding right by the headpin. You know, Jim, right now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, the meat and potatoes of this championship match, and it's coming down to who wants it more than the next guy. And the guy's got to step through the door and make better shots, get the ball to the pocket.
Can you want it too much?
Well, I think you can press, but you know that you've got to avoid that. Good shots. I'm going to make a good shot. These are the only things that should be going through your mind right now. Forget about the money. Forget about who's watching at home. The only focus should be on what it needs, what the individual needs to do to make a good shot.
You have seen some definite improvement in Paul Koehler. What's the major difference between maybe his bowling a year ago versus what we're seeing tonight?
Well, he's worked really hard with Del Ballard on trying to soften his hand and his hit. This week, for instance, he's worked on creating more tilt or more axis rotation. When you're playing the big hook like Paul's doing, you have to have that, and that's the result. And what a great time for Paul Koehler to strike. Now what he needs to do is figure out the left lane. Look at this ball coming right into your living room. 6-pin goes into the 10. Very nice result. Looking for the same thing now in the left lane. 8th frame, trails by 9. What a shot. Took him 3 shots to get a strike on that lane, and that ball was absolutely perfect. Lofts the ball because if he doesn't, the ball's in the left channel. That's some serious power, folks. Look at the concentration.
Concentration on smoke.
Kurt Pilon drifting high, leaving the 610. If he makes the spare, he will be going at a 2:03 pace. Paul Koehler, 195 pace, 196 pace, depending on what he does. I don't need to tell you what a terrible time it is to miss a 610.
You can only imagine what's going through that man's mind right now. I mean, 10 years out here, a couple of regional titles, but no PBA title. New baby boy on the way, and maybe his first win in a couple of minutes. And if you're just joining us, we are live. Randy Peterson's alongside. This is the 2001 PBA Peoria Open. Baseball tonight coming up in just a matter of seconds. Glad you're with us on the worldwide leader. It's okay to breathe, Paul. He was talking about breathing yesterday.
Yeah.
He was going to be a little nervous.
Well, right now, Kurt Pilon, with a spare conversion here, is a possible 202. Paul Koehler, if he strikes out, shoots 226. It's up to Paul to come through in the 9th and 10th to win his first title. 24-pin lead for Paul Koehler. 9th frame, right lane. The biggest shot of Paul Koehler's career. What a great shot. He leaves a solid 9. Watch this ball go right past the 9-pin. Look at that. He's going, come on, ball, carry, carry, carry. Oh.
Can still close it out. Very, very hungry. His words to win a PBA title.
Right now, the situation is this. Paul Koehler, 2 strikes and 8 in the 10th frame, and he's going to win his first title. Anything less, Pilon has a chance to win. Well, that changes everything. 9 out, he's got 182. Kurt Pilon's going at a 192 pace. All Kurt would need to do is mark. With a spare, he forces Kurt Pilon to double in the 10th with good count on his fill shot. If ever there was a time to go for this for a split conversion, now's the time. Well, obviously, no. Paul wanted 182. Kurt Pilon needs a mark to win.
And he kind of advertises, describes himself as a student of the game. He knows it.
Well, he definitely knows what he needs to win this tournament.
From the man that said he almost worked too much to get ready. Got himself into a bit of a rut. 4 years on the PBA trail. 2 regional titles, but his first win, his first PBA win. For the man that wears unmatching socks, one of his bowling superstitions. So close for Paul. Officially needs one more.
I think he can handle it. A young man there bowled great all week long. He'd like to have the 1 in the 10th frame over.
29-year-old Kurt Pilon, wife Tracy, daughter Bailey, and our champion. Randy and I will see you next week. We'll be in Nashville for the PBA Greater Nashville Open. Another $200,000 on the line. Another $40,000 for first. And maybe it'll be Paul Koehler's day. Maybe we'll have another first-time winner. A reminder, Sports Center is coming up 11 o'clock Eastern Time right here on ESPN. And baseball tonight coming up next. Scores and highlights. For Randy Peterson and all our ESPN PBA team, this has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.